We're inside the WB Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. Mike Maravito now joined with the head coach of the Hofstra Pride baseball team, John Russo. And Coach, you guys knew coming down this past weekend down to Atlanta, a place where you haven't won in the past, but you knew you had to get at least 1 or 2 wins. And on Friday, you sent Brian Verbisky his second start of the season, and in 6th inning only allows 1 hit, and then from there on out, you had a 1-run game in the 8th that kind of unraveled for you guys. But can you talk about the performance by Brian and how his progress is as a starter?
Brian did a really good job. He held him down early, and their starter was just as good. He was 92, 94 for most of the game, and so I don't know where Georgia State had been hiding him, but he didn't have that many innings going into the weekend. There he is with like a 1 ERA, 18 innings pitched, and throwing really well. But in the inning Brian gave up the runs, he pitched really well. He had a couple bad breaks. They had 2 choppers go over the infielder's head. He had a double play ball hit the calf arrow that didn't get turned over and got booted. And, it was just tough. And, when we're in a good series like that, we've got to make plays, or we have to have a little couple breaks go our way. And, that day we just didn't have any breaks go our way.
You moved to the next day then on Saturday. You guys actually pick up your first win in Atlanta since 2008. Joe Burke gets the start. Doesn't go that long into the game, but your bullpen really helps you out late. John Tiedemann, one of his best outings of the year, 3 scoreless, and the bats really rally late in the game to pick up that win. Was that encouraging for you as a coach to see that road win in a place that is tough to win at?
You got it. I mean, I think I was 0 for 7 in being there, a part of wins, and so it was a good time to get our first win. And it was really, Joe gave us some innings, and Harkey came in and tried to stop the bleeding, and really ended up, stranding a guy at second with no out. So it was a really big, part of the game. But then the effort John Tiedemann gave was incredible. Like you said, probably his best outing of the year. Completely dominant, in control. He had good velocity, had his slider working, and he had a lot of confidences, which I liked. And I was really proud of John and getting that outing. And then Barbs came in and stopped it in 9th. And in the inning that we went ahead, Kevin Brantley, the freshman, coming up with another big hit, hitting a double to left field to break up the tie, and then a couple more good swings under the ball.
You mentioned Brantley, a guy who had a lot of hype coming in. Got off to a little bit of a cold start, but really in the past month or so, he's been one of the better hitters on your squad. Can you talk about his progression and what you can look forward to, not just for the rest of this season, but the next 3 years on top of that?
I think the cold start is a very fitting thing. It was cold, and he's from South Florida. He'd never been outside the state playing, and we just had unusually cold weather, and he could just never get it going. And I felt really bad for him because it was just something he never was used to. And as the weather has warmed up, he's really started to warm up. And the thing I like his confidence. I like how hard he plays. He has belief in every time he gets up to the plate. We're super excited that he'll have 150 at bats probably after this season. He'll get another 100, 150 this summer, and to get a freshman that he's going to have 300 at bats his first freshman year, and then he'll get a first fall. He wasn't with us this fall, and there's no telling the growth that he can make between this year and next year.
You go into yesterday knowing that was as close to a must-win as you guys have had all year, and Dave DeRico, the senior, gets the nod there, and not his best outing, but a lot of unearned runs attributed to that, some fielding miscues. What do you think from him on the mound in terms of could be one of his final couple starts in the regular season, and we know he's a gamer. What did he bring to the table?
I felt bad for David. I thought he had his best stuff that he had all year. He had electric stuff. Obviously, he knew the situation, that it was a must-win game. Came out and threw really well. He caught a couple bad breaks with, we just picked a bad time to not play good defense, and, we made a couple defensive miscues that really hurt us, and, I thought 5 of the 6 runs were unearned, and, he could have pitched really well. And then we got a really great outing from Brett Schreiber, who, just really handcuffed them. They didn't threaten at all for 5 innings, and he came into first and second and got there. During that game, we just caught another bad break. Calf arrow got spiked and ended up getting 20 stitches, and is now out the rest of the year. He was one of our hottest hitters on the weekend, and to lose him for the rest of that game was really big. And it just doesn't seem like we've caught that many breaks so far this year.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned the injury bug that's been going around all season long. Of course, no Matt Ford, no Dalton Rouleau. We've seen Austin Nyman, Matt Reistetter be bruised, and now with the with the Cafiero injury, At what point, as a coach, when you get all these injuries, do you just, you fill in the spots, but eventually, back last winter, this isn't, of course, what you planned for. How do you handle that as a manager?
We talk about a lot as a team. We just keep moving forward and we take what we get. And, until there's not any more games to be played, we'll keep fielding a lineup. And, we have confidence in our system. We think the system's a good system, a way to win games. And, hopefully whoever we can put in there, can win games. But, yeah, we'd be lying if we said that, it wasn't the lineup we thought in November that we'd be going to bat with in May. But, we've gotten some great efforts from a lot of guys. And we still have one weekend left to make a run at this.
What was the reaction from your team heading back from Atlanta, especially the seniors, of knowing that now they are in a pretty tough situation coming up, as you said, against Wilmington, one of the top team in the conference this year?
It was a tough loss yesterday, and I thought even tougher was being on the bus when James Madison won with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth, and we were really needing them to lose. But the guys are aware of the situation. I think we can take 2 of 3 from UNC Wilmington at home. We've taken 2 from Delaware. We've taken 2 from Old Dominion, some of the better teams in conference. We're a great home team. We have a lot of confidence at home. And I think these seniors have done so much for the program, and I think they know it's at a cost. We're at least going to get a great effort this coming weekend. And, James Madison doesn't have an easy task. They're going to be at Delaware, for 3 games. So anything, I think, can happen.
Coming into that final weekend, 2 spots still available for 3 teams Northeastern. They just need a win or a Hofstra loss of the remaining 3, and James Madison needs any combination of the 2, a James Madison win or 2 Hofstra losses. So how much of this weekend are you going to be trying to get the team, not necessarily to focus on what those teams are doing? Northeastern has Towson on the road, and you said JMU has Delaware, and stay more focused on the games at hand, because it must be tough knowing that for really the first time all year, the destiny not in your guys' hands.
That's the tough part, is knowing that even if we win, it's not in our hands. But, being a student athlete, they have a tough week with exams and finishing out. So we're going to wait till like Wednesday or Thursday to get them straight. And to be honest, it'll be a good time to heal up. Austin Nyman played the whole weekend with a pulled groin. And, just to get some guys healed up, we're going to have to get Brantley working a little bit at third base. We'll have to get move some stuff around and get stuff going. We got to see Brian Verbitsky back in the lineup this weekend, which was a big addition on Saturday and Sunday. I thought he swung the bat great after not, hitting for the better part of 2 months. And, I think we get the Friday doubleheader, so we get to play 2 games before, James Madison even goes to the field. And, if we could win 2 games early and put a lot of pressure on James Madison, I think that would be the way to go. So, with Brian going game 1 and Berg going game 2, I think it's something we do. We've done it before. We won, 2 on doubleheader from Old Dominion in one day, which I thought they had as good a pitching as we'd seen in the league. And so to think this is out of the realm of possibility is not correct. But, we definitely have our hands full.
Head coach of the Hofstra Pride baseball team, John Russo. Hofstra has their final home series of the season this upcoming weekend, a doubleheader Friday, and then Senior Day on Saturday afternoon. This has been the WB Mason Report. I'm Mike Marabito.